Hey YouTube. So earlier today, I posted a haul that I got of math curriculum, and I was 99% completely satisfied with what I got. Um, I'm gonna use all of it, but one thing I picked up was a little confusing. I picked it up, and because I was getting a lot of workbooks, and I got a lot of curriculum this morning from Goodwill, and I got like 8 workbooks of different things. Part of it is like an instructor's guide, and I got it like some enrichment stuff and just a lot of cool stuff. Um, but one thing I picked up was a textbook. This textbook, Mathscape, and yeah, I was confused a little bit in the store because I couldn't tell what grade it was for. Which usually you can open up a textbook and you see the problems, or it'll say somewhere in the inside what grade it's for, and um, I didn't really see that. But it looked interesting. It looked different from anything I'd really ever seen. So, I mean, it's $1.50. What do I gotta lose? So I picked it up and I got home and I looked through it some more. And as I looked through it, I thought the I've seen the title Mathscape before. Where have I seen it? I couldn't place it yet. And then as I continued to open and look through, I realized there's not a lot of math in here. There's, I know this is a primary text, but there's a lot of stuff about abacus and different civilizations, and I'm looking through it right now. There's an entire chapter on polyhedrons, just polyhedrons. They build them, they paint them. There's, I mean, there's a chapter, actually several, on how big things are. Some things are really big and some things are really small. There's, let me see. Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 chapters on just on describing things. How big they are, how small they are. 3 chapters on that. And I was just very confused by this. And I was like, what is this? This is a Common Core textbook. That is where I've heard Mathscape before. It is part of Common Core, which I've been looking into some, but I've not seen any of the textbooks myself. And I know there's been a lot of complaints about them, and sometimes so far I hadn't really agreed with it because I don't like the amount of control that the federal government gets over education and how it kind of takes away local control from people. Um, and I've heard a lot about the math, but I'd never really seen it, so I couldn't really say, oh, that's worse or that's better or whatever. Um, what I had heard was that it's that you're not covering as much, but you're going to cover this much, but you're going to go deeper. This much, but you'll go deeper into it. And I'm not really sure what that meant. And I've seen parents go and be outraged at what their kids were learning, and now I understand. If this out there in YouTube land, if your kid brings home this book, get them a tutor. This is not suitable for a primary text. It is not. There's a lot of graphs. There's a lot of stories about robots and bears, but there's not a lot of math concepts being taught. Like I said, towards the end, let me see, where does this start? They talk some about decimals. They talk a lot about graphs. And it just gets to be, to me, it seems like it would be mind-numbing to be in a class like this where you never really move forward. You're kind of always in the same place because they want to go deeper. And it's just, I'm going to do a full review on how screwed up this book is as far as being a primary text. Now, if you're going to use this for like a fun activity book where you're going to build some things, you're going to kind of talk about some math concepts with it, then okay, fine. And that's really what we're going to do with it. But this is not a primary textbook at all. At all. Um, Again, this is a mini rant, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you exactly why this is just unacceptable. And get your kid a tutor. If they come home with anything that looks like this is the sixth grade one, but there's two others, and if your kid has this, they are not learning math. They aren't. Um, you need to get them a tutor. They're learning about how big things are and how small things are. And they do that for 3 chapters. And then they talk about, then they start talking about patterns, but not, but I mean, you're most of the way through the year, I think, by that time, before you get to patterns, and you really haven't covered nearly as much as you would have had you, you're really just wasting like a month or two of time on this. Um, you get to patterns and you're just, wow, it's all patterns for, wow. So for 3 chapters, you're talking about how big and small things are. And then for 4, you're talking about patterns. You're talking about what patterns look like. You're going to describe some. You're going to describe some patterns. There's grass everywhere. Like, if, oh my gosh, if I were a kid, I would hurt myself because this, this is all year. All year, you're doing the same stuff. Like, I mean, you have no choice but to make an A on the test because you only talked about like 2 things all year. Okay, so that was a mini rant. I have things to get done, but I wanted to turn on the camera and just let off a little bit of steam because I know some poor group of kids out there are learning from this, and I use the word learning quite loosely on this because I don't know what you would get out of talking about how big and small things are when you should be learning pre-algebra. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm going to come back and do like a more detailed thing, and I'm going to probably do a little bit more research on Common Core math and do like a full video uh, series or just one big video on it. So I just wanted to kind of get that off my chest. That yeah, Common Core is the complaints are valid. If this is if these are the standards, wow, yeah, you need to be you should just teach your kid at home because yeah, they're not gonna get what they could be getting at school. Okay, so I'll see you guys later.